God afternoon, you guys. Today is August 18th. God calling stones of the way, and God even had broken bonds. Let's go. Let's see what God has to say to us. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm here. No distance separates me. In the spirit, knowing we measure not by earth's miles, a false word, a fear-inspired failure, a harsh criticism. These are the distances between his soul and me. Your training must be severe, that your work from me be unhindered. Let's reread that one more time. I'm here. No distance separates me. In the spirit kingdom, we measure not by earth's miles, a false word, a fear-inspired failure, a harsh criticism. These are the distances between the soul and me. Your training must be severe, that your work for me be unhindered. God is saying that he does not measure in no human metric, right? God measures his distance from his disciples, from his children, from us, right? In those few things, right? A false word, right? Lying, a fear-inspired failure, right? Giving up, right? A harsh criticism, being mean to others. These are the distances between his soul and me. So all these things are things that are sins that humans do, and they pile up, and then these sins pile up and they eventually fall between us and God, and they push us back further and further and further. You seek my presence, and they who seek shall find. It is not a question of human searching, so much as human consciousness, unconditional surrender to my will in the small as in the big things of life. This is that it makes my guidance possible. So God is saying that it's not our power that grows our relationship with the Lord, bro. Right? It's our confidence. It's our desire, right? But it's not our doing. It's not our physical action, right? We can't do anything to make God love us more. We can't do anything to get us in the kingdom of heaven faster, right? Besides develop a relationship with the Lord, besides have that curious mind to get closer to him, to understand him more. And then through that, naturally, we will just find different routes and avenues that God gives to us to get closer to him. If we want to get closer to God and we try to take action, right, by helping people, yeah, that's good, that's great. But ultimately, you always have the underlying action. How do I get closer to God? How do I get in the kingdom of heaven? How do I do this thing so God will love me more? And that's never in the right vein. That's never in God's true name. You know the difference between taking a glad, loving, joy-springing child with you along the way. When the child anticipates each direction, accepts naturally each decision as to each turning, and the child who resists and rebellious has to be forced, even though it is in quiet moments, it may say, yes, I do want to go with you. I cannot be left alone, but I hate this way. It is not that way, but the loving rejoicing in the way and the guidance that matters with my disciplines. You're ready for the guidance, but you do not rejoice as you should, both of you, in the little daily stones of the way. So God is comparing us to children, as he normally does, because we are his kids, right? And God's saying that there's two different routes you can have. There's a route where you are along the ride with God, and you understand that, you acknowledge that, you realize you don't have power, you realize that you are going to succumb to his whim, whatever he desires of you, you need to follow, right? Whatever direction, whatever path you put your life down, you need to accept, right? And ultimately understand and know it will be for your benefit, and have faith that you'll be protected, right? If you're walking alone on a street in New York and you're a little kid and your parent is pulling your hand this way, that way, you're going to follow them. Like, no questions asked. But then there's always that kid that sees something that they like, sees something they desire, sees something along the way. And then, they yank on God's hand. They yank on the parent's hand to go a different way, this way, that way. And then if they don't get the way, they sit, they pout. Their parents have to pick them up, force them, spank them, discipline them, do anything just to get them to go that way, right? And that's how it is going to be with God. It's very simple to understand, because we do that in our own lives. We've had that happen to us by our parents, and we will do that to our kids as parents. So why is it so hard to understand God? It's a very similar dynamic, a very similar relationship. God even tied broken bonds. Lose the fetters that bind me to earth and material things. They shall be loosened. Even now, your prayer is being answered, but you can only be completely released as you live with me more and more. So now it's the struggle of being bounded to this earth, right? Imagine your soul's like every day it's climbing a ladder to get higher to God, higher to heaven. Imagine your soul, you have chains wrapped around your legs that are pulling you down, and these chains are material things, worldly things, right? Though freedom from self-claims comes by a process of substitution, for every claim of self, substitute my claim. For every thought of fear or resentment, substitute a thought of security in me and joy in my service. For every thought of limitation or helplessness, substitute one of the power of a spirit-aided life. So God's saying that we have to switch out these things that we're getting from the material world that we think benefit us with things from God's world, from the spirit world that we know benefits us, and switch them out properly, like he just said. So just re-listen, put the video back and re-listen to what I just said to understand what we need to swap out with what. Do this persistently, at first with deliberate effort, until it becomes an almost unconscious habit. The fetters will snap, and gradually you will realize the wonder of your freedom. Guys, we truly aren't free. We truly aren't free because we are people who sin were people who are in this world and captured in this world. We are surrounded by people who are not of God, and so it's going to be very difficult. But we know that we can do these things. We just have to substitute them with God. We have to get closer to him, and God knows it's going to be difficult. So he's made certain processes for us to understand, right? He's made things, he's made ways for us to do it easier, for us to go about it easier, and that is through substitution. So listen to what I just said. I love you guys so much. That is August 18th. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. And with that, I will say amen.